mistake, so we need to be certain that the AI's reasoning is sound, not just that it sounds convincing.
Right.
Yeah.
This idea of interpretability really makes me think about the role of trust in medicine. Like, if we can understand how an AI arrives at its conclusions, does that make us more likely to trust its medical advice?
That's a crucial question, and it gets to the heart of why this research is so significant. Historically, AI has been viewed as a black box. We input data, we receive an output, but we don't necessarily know what happens in between.
Yeah. And in medicine, that lack of transparency can be a real barrier to adoption. Doctors are understandably hesitant to rely on a system they don't fully understand, especially when patient safety is on the line.
Precisely. But imagine a scenario where a doctor uses an LLM as a diagnostic tool. Instead of just receiving a diagnosis, they also get a clear, step-by-step explanation of the AI's reasoning process. This allows the doctor to scrutinize the logic, identify potential biases, and ultimately make a more informed decision.
So it becomes a collaboration, not a replacement.
Right.
The AI offers its insights, but the human doctor remains the ultimate decision maker, using their expertise and judgment to evaluate the AI's recommendations.
That's the ideal scenario. And this study suggests that LLMs like GPT-4 have the potential to facilitate that kind of collaboration. The ability to understand the AI's reasoning opens up a whole new level of transparency and trust.
It's like having a second opinion, but with the added benefit of being able to see how that second opinion was formed.
Yeah.
You can trace the logic, identify the evidence that was considered, and even spot potential flaws in the reasoning.
And that ability to scrutinize the AI's thought process is crucial for building trust. It allows doctors to use AI as a tool to augment their own expertise, rather than blindly following its recommendations.
The study also looked at how well these LLMs performed on particularly challenging diagnostic cases from the New England Journal of Medicine.
Right.
These are cases that often stump even experienced doctors.
They found that while GPT-4 could still perform well on these complex cases, the advantage of using specific diagnostic reasoning prompts wasn't as clear.
It's interesting that even with these prompts designed to guide the AI's reasoning, it didn't necessarily perform any better on these particularly difficult cases. What do you make of that?
It suggests that GPT-4's reasoning, even if we can understand the steps it takes, might be fundamentally different from a human doctor's. It could be that GPT-4 is already maxing out its capabilities with the information it has, and the prompts don't make much difference at that level. Or it could be that GPT-4 is simply very good at recognizing the type of explanation we humans find convincing and tailoring its response accordingly.
So even though it can present its reasoning in a way that we understand, we still don't have a complete picture of how it's arriving at its conclusions.
Right.
There's still a degree of mystery there.
Exactly, and that's an important point to remember. We shouldn't assume that just because we can understand the steps, we fully grasp the underlying mechanisms of the AI's thought process.